1968 and before. The first curriculum in Indonesia after Independence Day is the Curriculum 1947, a subject plan 1947 or Rencana Pelajaran 1947. As quoted by him, the curriculum was outlined into 3 columns: class, contact hour per week, and teaching materials. The curriculum was organized to replace Netherlands' educational system and developed to establish the Indonesian people character. In 1952, there was improvement of curriculum in Indonesia, which is known as Unrevolved Subject Plan 1952 or Rencana Pembelajaran Terurai 1952. The 1953 curriculum leads to the curriculum of national education system in which every lesson plan must consider the content of the subject connected to everyday life. It was outlined in 5 columns: class, number of contact hour per week, topic, lesson, and remark. In 1964, Indonesia government improved the national educational system. The name was the Education Plan 1964, and the learning program focused on Pancawardana. Concerning Pancawardana, Tiara stated that it is an educational policy which contains principles of the development of patriotism, based on national, international, and religious orientation. It is implemented for the development of intelligence, emotion, handcraft, and physical. The next curriculum development was in the year 1968 or Curriculum 1968. The curriculum change was colored by the political change from the old order to the new order. Basic views and concepts relating to the educational foundation, objectives, and content were formulated. The education foundation was Pancasila. The objectives was to form Indonesian people who apply the spirit of Pancasila, and the contents of education were to solidify the students' morality, mentality, and faithfully, to enhance the students' intelligence and skills as well as develop student physics. Curriculum 1975, 1984, and 1994. The Ministry of Education and Culture established the Curriculum 1975 to substitute the Curriculum 1968 under the Ministerial Decree number 008D/U/1975 and 008E/U/1975. Date on January 15, 1975. This curriculum generally aimed at enhancing the quality of the Indonesian national education, and specifically this curriculum was objective-oriented in the sense that the teacher needed to know the student's objective in learning a certain item of knowledge, science, or skill. Integrated approach was adopted and structuralism philosophy was as foundation of the curriculum. It was influenced by behavior psychology that emphasized the stimulus to response and training or tutorial. In 1984, the Curriculum 1984 was established to rectify the Curriculum 1975. The previous curriculum was considered no longer compatible with the needs of community and the demand of science and technology. The structural approach applied in the curriculum not being successful yet, especially viewed from the students' need to have communicative competence. The Curriculum 1984 oriented to instructional goals, and learning in the classroom must be functional and effective. The teaching approach was student-centered through Students Active Learning System or Cara Belajar Siswa Aktif (CBSA) to improve students' communicative competence. By the year 1994, the curriculum 1984 was considered that it needed to be revised. The learning process in the previous curriculum emphasized the theory of learning and less attention to the content of lesson. The curriculum 1994 was established as the completion of the curriculum 1984 with the Education Law number 2 in 1989 of the National Educational System. This curriculum applied a meaningful paced approach, communicative approach, and the system of learning time was changed from the semester to the quarter system. However, during the implementation of the curriculum, there were some problems because of too many approaches should be oriented, the number of subjects, and too much substance of each of the subjects.
Okay, the next curriculum is Competence-Based Curriculum or CBC, the Curriculum 2004. As a response to the structural change in the government from centralistic to decentralized, the Curriculum 1994 needed to be refined. It was a logical consequence the implementation of the Act No. 22 and 25 in 1999 about regional autonomy. The curriculum developed at the time was called Competence-Based Curriculum, which focused on developing ability to do or competence duties in accordance with certain performance standards that had been set. Based on the Decree of Minister of Education number 45/U/2002 about core curriculum, competence is a set of intelligent action, so a competent person has full responsibility as a condition to be considered capable by the society in carrying out tasks in a particular field of work. Competency-based education emphasizes the ability to be possessed by graduates of an education. Competence is often called a standard of competence, is the ability of graduates in general must be mastered. Competence or ability is the main capital of graduates to compete on a global level. Because competition is happening, is the ability of human resources. The curriculum-based competence used Master of Learning Time system and emphasized on students' competency, both individual and group or classical, process assessment, results-oriented learning or learning outcomes, and diversity. The activities in the classroom. Students are no longer object, but the subject, and the teacher's role is only as facilitators. Based on Decree of the Minister of National Education number 232/U/2000, the curriculum structure is based on learning objectives. First, learning to know, second is learning to do, and the third is learning to live together. And the fourth, the last, is learning to be. For the format of the curriculum 2004 based on PP number 25/2000, the Ministry of Education developed national standards for all subjects, which is included in four components. First, competence standards, second, basis competence, third, subject matter, and fourth, indicators of achievement. Competence standard is defined as the roundness of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and achieved at the expected level of mastery in learning a subject. It which consists of content standard and performance standard. Basic competence is the minimum standard of knowledge, skill, and attitudes that must be mastered and can be modeled by students in each competency standard. Subject matter or instructional material is the subject of a study of materials, which can be a field of teaching, content, process, skill, and scientific context of a subject. Then the indicators of achievement are the specific abilities that can be used as a measurement to assess the completeness of learning. Technically, the CBC developed PUSCORE 2001 grouped into 3 levels of competence, namely, first, competence of graduates or KL competency lulusan, namely the competency that should be owned by students after they complete a certain level of education, like elementary, junior high school, or senior high school. And the second is general competencies or KKU, kompetensi umum, namely the competencies that should be owned by students after they follow certain subject at a certain education level. And the third, basic competence or KD, kompetensi dasar, which is essential competencies that should be owned students when they follow a particular subject at a particular time unit. In practice, the 3 levels of competence has become reference in carrying out instructional duties in schools. Going to the next curriculum, School-Based Curriculum or KTSP, the Curriculum 2006. KTSP or Education Unit Level Curriculum or School-Based Curriculum is the curriculum developed by the operational and implemented in its educational unit or school. This curriculum is implemented based on some regulation, namely A. The Act or UU number 20 in 2003 about National Education System, B. The Act number 32 in 2004 about regional autonomy included in education, and C. The Government Regulation or PP number 19 in 2005 about National Education Standard, and D. Ministerial Decree or MD number 22 in 2006 about Content Standard or SE, E. Ministerial Decree number 23 in 2006 about Graduate Competence Standard or SKL, F. Ministerial Decree number 24 in 2006 about the implementation of SE and SKL. The essential difference between the competence-based curriculum and school-based curriculum actually did not exist. Both had a set plan of competencies-oriented and learning outcomes of students. The difference is just on the technical implementation. If the CBC is prepared by central government, in this case the Ministry of Education, then KTSP is prepared by the educational level of each unit. In this case, the school is concerned. Though still referring to the national guidelines, the guidelines for developing curriculum is prepared by the independent agency so-called the National Education Standard Agency or BSNP. Development Education Unit Level Curriculum or KTSP refers to the various national education standards to ensure the achievement of national education goals. The government regulation is landing on the need to provide structured and carried out a national education standard. First is content standard, second is process standard, and third is graduate competence standard, and fourth education personnel standard, then 5 facilities and infrastructure standard, and 6 management standard, 7 financial standard, and 8 the last education assessment standard. 2 of the 8 national education standard, namely the content standard or SE standar isi and the graded competency standard or SKL standar kompetensi lulusan are the main reference for the education unit in developing curriculum. The principles of development education unit level curriculum are as follows: A. centered on the potential progress, needs, and self-interest of a learner in their environment. B. Diverse and integrated. C. Responsive to the development of science, technology, and art. And D. Relevant to the needs of life. E. Comprehensive and sustainable. F. Lifelong learning. And the components of education unit level curriculum consists of: first, purpose of education school; second, structure and curriculum content; third, education calendar; fourth, syllabus; and fifth, learning implementation plan.
So it's my turn. I will explain briefly about the last point, which is curriculum 2013. Let's get it. The newest curriculum applied in Indonesia is curriculum 2013. The implementation of this curriculum is started on July 2013. However, it is still for certain schools and levels of education. The goal of the curriculum 2013 is to produce Indonesian people who are productive, creative, innovative, and effective through empowerment of integrated attitude, skill, and knowledge. The difference between curriculum 2006 or KTSP and curriculum 2013 or K13 is in the learning plan. In the curriculum 2006, the syllabus development is under education units or school authority. However, in the curriculum 2013, the syllabus development is the central government. But the teachers still have an authority to design the lesson plan and develop the materials given for operationalizing in learning. The conclusion of this video is curriculum as a set of plans and systems about the contents and materials to be taught, as well as methods used to carry out teaching and learning activities at school become guidance to achieve the education goals at school, district, province, and state level. Curriculum development is the organized preparation of whatever is going to be taught in school at a given time in a given year. They are made into official documents as guides for teachers and made obligatory by provincial and territorial departments. The change of curriculum in Indonesia education is in line with the meaning of the current reform of education and learning, which are always carried out from time to time and never stopped. The changes mean for the purpose of improving quality of their education and learning. However, it is not deniable that the changes of a curriculum is affected by the political atmosphere at the time. So, that's all the explanation about curriculum development in Indonesia by us. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy and get some new knowledge from this video. See you next time.